Welcome to the Crownsmen Show, everybody. This episode is going to be a little bit different because usually we have a guest on or we're doing cranky old men drinking beer. We still get paid if we say cranky old men drinking beer, even if we're... Every time we say it.
Every time it's on the contract.
We've made thousands of dollars.
Hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
On paper.
On paper, yeah. Take that to the bank.
I am.
Loan it, leverage
taking it to every bank on Main Street.
Right, yep. So Rory Bamford is in the studio in person. You're not sitting in your remote studio.
Lenny's gone. Everything's gone.
Yeah, you got the beautiful back. It's real heavy industry now. We're getting serious.
Yeah.
Gaudy Molina is in the studio.
Gaudy!
Keeping the show running. Our head of production.
Lenny will be in the backgrounds too, so it's good.
Why didn't you bring Lenny? Oh,
it's too much volume.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And Zarina is in the house.
Hello,
producing.
Welcome back, Zarina.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you were traveling.
I was traveling.
Like a week after she started with us.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
It's like, I'm going on vacation.
I know.
How
right?
stressful are we?
Yeah.
She didn't make it a week. It's like, I need a break, and we understood.
Yeah. Like, yes, take it.
Yeah, we get it. We understand.
If I could, I would do.
Yeah, but you can't, so we won't. This episode is just, we're going to go through essentially what we go through with clients. We are going to blur out the pricing probably, though, just to not confuse the audience.
We don't need to confuse the audience.
Because there's all these different packages.
We don't need to get into that.
But we can go through the options, and the editors could probably just blur that out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give them more work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they love him. Especially Carl. He is. Yeah.
He's amazing.
He's messing around a little bit on these shows. He's messing around a little bit. He's giving people beards and taking beards away.
Wait, is there something I haven't seen yet?
There's definitely something you haven't seen yet.
Nice.
Gets a little
coming to you soon.
It's good enough that we definitely can't get him to not.
Oh, for sure.
It's hilarious.
I'm excited to when he crosses the line.
He's going to cross the line.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Good.
Yeah. He's already like right up against it.
Yeah.
That's what we want. We want people to
For
push
sure.
boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of our whole ethos.
Okay.
You and I just got off a call.
We sure did.
With, I think there was 5 or 6 companies on there.
I think there were 6.
Yeah.
5, 6. I'm still confused on the one. I don't know if it was.
I think someone had a note taker.
I don't think
they didn't even join the call. They just put a note taker on.
Because I just set that up. I sent him the invite like late last night.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was able to join. It's a whole different process.
So what if AI summarizes and then recommends them to not work with us?
They won't. No, they won't. AI never does that, does it?
No. AI is reliable.
That's the thing I realized.
100%.
I do want to follow up with him. Be like, you weren't on, your note taker was on, but I got to follow up with him because, again, he won't have any reference.
He won't have any reference. Yeah. So it was an interesting call, though, today because for anybody who doesn't know the show, we produce heavy industry episodes like mining, energy, construction, transportation, manufacturing. And so a customer is flying us to Wisconsin. And so while we're there, we're going to try to film a whole bunch of other on-site episodes. So we've reached out to a whole bunch of people within the target industry, and we're having these group sessions where people come on. It's quite interesting. What is the big difference? Because now we've done 3 of them that you see from when we used to do one-on-ones to now we have groups of people.
Getting all the questions. This one was getting all the questions that you would normally get from, say, if you do 5 meetings. So if somebody asks, okay, you guys are filming at, we can do on-site, but I see that you're going to WEFTech. Can we film there? Yes, Yes, you can. Or you could film B-roll on-site still, do WEFTech afterwards. And then what was another question we got today? We had
splitting up, because we have the shorter product promo.
Yes,
that was interesting. So people were already starting to map out.
Yes,
and then you could see that they were mapping out how they would do it. So then that was triggering other people to go, we can also do it that way.
The product promo, they would only target in one area.
Yeah.
But then the other business is global, so you do an episode and you do a global outreach.
Yeah, and they were in 2 different locations. So one would be filmed in Alberta, one would be filmed in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And then someone else was saying that they have enough people to do a 3-part series.
Yes.
So then
Yes, that's right.
You definitely covered a lot more ground. And I find it, though, where I found a big difference is, let's say we have an audio issue or something, which we had this morning.
Mm-hmm.
The old way of doing, you just go, hey, I'm just going to leave the call, come back on. But now you got 7 people, I think, were on the call today in total.
I think so. 7 or 8.
Yeah. And so now, like, time, when you take 10 seconds pause, you can just see people, just like you just did, it's just started to shift.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, oh, okay, we're losing them. And
you need to do that 10 minutes. You need to start. Basically, we're starting now. When we see that meeting at 9, we're starting at 8:50.
Yeah. Because, well, this is what I realized. If you're one-on-one and you lose one client or one meeting, you get 4 more chances.
Yeah.
This, if you lose, you actually lose the audience.
Yeah.
They can all just leave on you. And I realize the stakes are a little bit higher.
Let's talk about our Heavy Industry World Tour brought to you by Savinaw Equipment. Find, market, and sell surplus and used equipment. We are heading to events across North America and Australia and filming episodes on location. Email us at info@crownsmen.com to be part of Crownsmen's Heavy Industry World Tour.
Again, for anybody who doesn't know, let's bring up our presentation. This is what we're showing people. You kicked off this morning. How do you describe us when somebody comes in and they don't know about us?
I say we are.
Hey, no reading off the script.
No, I'm just. I don't really use that. So I will usually go into. We started the Crownsmen Show to cover heavy industry back in 2018. Now we've branched out to all these different sectors: mining, energy, agriculture. Construction is a big one. Mining, construction, obviously, those are 2 huge shows that we're doing, basically covering like the in-depth details about those businesses. So not so much as if I get into like the what's being covered on an episode, problem solving. That's always a favorite one for me. Like, how do you, like, what problems, what issues are coming up? And this is actually a good point. Like the product promo, you can't really do that. It's not enough time. Full episodes, you get into the case studies, product promos, things like that.
Yeah, you can actually create layers.
What do you do on the pitch on like your side when you do the intro?
Generally, Gaudy, if you could scroll up, usually where I go to first is I get in. I say the quick thing like we create long form.
That's what I needed. I couldn't
long
see that.
form content.
I couldn't remember those.
Yeah, we create the long form content. So essentially, podcasts. I just give like really just so people understand what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And then I get into this because this usually gets people talking. Mm-hmm. And I'll usually use an example. A lot of times I'll use Komatsu because they've been on through SMS, but they've been on the show at Mine Expo. So I'll say, for example, Komatsu doesn't come on the show for branding. They're a bigger brand than us. What they do come on for is they want to educate their audience. There's not that many places, if any, they can go do a video interview, a technical video interview, and get 50, 100,000 views about a new dozer that they've got. I say dozer. Is there? It's up front. It's
gone.
Not here. That's on the mining show.
Yeah, that's on the mining show.
They sent us that little dozer.
Oh yes,
model.
Yes,
we'll bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. So they need the education part. They want engagement. Even conversion, like SMS is the one who sells the units.
Yes, Komatsu needs it for education.
Yeah, and even SMS, everybody knows SMS is the big Komatsu dealer out in their west.
But Komatsu also goes into these other brands like Bomag and that, so that's where the conversion is massive when they get those thousands of people going to their website for Bomag. They're like, oh, okay, this is fantastic because we want to sell more of these units.
They actually want to push those. And so then what I'll do is I'll ask them, so for your company, what are you actually looking for? Are you trying to, do you need to convert? Do you need to actually sell something off the show? Mm-hmm. Or do you just need that? And you assume everybody's going to say conversion. It's surprising how many people, that's not what they're after.
Yeah,
educating is a huge one.
Actually, that question I asked them today, or what do you want to accomplish? Mm-hmm. Nobody really answered on that one. They were just kind of getting warmed up, I think. Yeah. But later on, it started talking about actually, I found the theme was kind of like what they could film like on site. Did you feel that too?
This became a like conceptual production meeting more so than the other ones.
And I think the other one, if we scroll down a little bit, like those are our values. Jerrod, what are our values? You can't see them, so tell everybody.
Affordable, flexible, exceptional. And affordable is high value. Oh, sorry, I'm reading. The affordable one, This one I always want to clarify it because it's not just about being that anybody can access it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to spend thousands and thousands of dollars because they've got it intertwined into a multi-million-dollar promotion strategy, right?
Yes.
So affordable is about making sure that the option we have, it is big value for what they're spending.
Like an Orica, they're monsters and
marketing,
and they're tying it in now. They're getting huge reach on their own platforms with the content, highlights, blog posts, our stuff. It's just they're just giving it.
Yeah, you can't bring a drone on and do 5 cameras and have editing and plan out month in advance and be $500 to do an episode. Not going to happen.
No, I don't think so. Or free.
I'm curious though, just on what you said. Do you find that being able to use this content on their platforms, is that a big selling point?
What do you find?
I think after they do it, they realize how awesome it is a lot of times, and they're like, do we get this?
So it's an afterthought, because I see it afterwards.
After they realize the scale of it, and they go, okay, this is really well edited. This has got like great visuals. Now, what I tell a lot of people is like, you can build a landing page for your episode. So after we do the filming, editing, and approval, Cementation, great example. They built the landing page. The episode is sitting on the landing page as well. So the hundreds or however many people went to that page, they're seeing the write-up about their safety that they talked about in the episode, plus their episode is embedded again.
That's a good marketing thing because then you're seeing it's just so sometimes when you leave a page, it's like, did I go to the right spot? And then having that's a good idea. I don't say that to people. I'm going to say that. The other thing, you say that all the time to people.
Yes, it's one of my big selling features for people. Rain for Rent, Cementation, SMS Equipment's doing it. Basically, all my clients are setting up like web pages. Orica's doing it.
So you are using it as a selling
all the time.
Yeah.
Like, I will make sure I go back to if you scroll down just a little bit on the production, you'll see where it says footage rights, and I unpack what that means. Like, I am not happy if I go through and I don't talk full content rights.
Oh, full content rights.
Because I make that into its own section.
Yeah.
I'm like,
well, it is.
And then that's what you see. Like, people start asking, do we get this? Do we get this? It's like, once it's approved.
I think, sorry, from my end, that's where I see it a lot. It's also that we have our own highlights and that helps.
Yeah.
Kind of see what you could do
with
with
exactly.
it. Yeah.
And they go, oh, can we split this? Can we do? And I'm like, yeah, you can do whatever you want to it.
Well, that leads into the next value, which is flexible, and that is, so we have an advantage that we made our own platform, but it doesn't. We've got lots of wiggle room within that of what we could produce. Where people get frustrated with production and why a lot of production companies don't make money, quite frankly, is because everything is custom.
Yes.
Meaning that they don't have a show.
Even the movie biz, all the time, stuff just goes belly up.
Yeah, they have to come up with an idea. Whereas shows are really good, and even like a Netflix, they have they just keep, if they have one flop episode, they just got to get the audience back for the next episode, right? So we have a series. So you go on the construction show. This is not a, bespoke episode where we're building the whole thing from the ground up.
What's the definition of a bespoke?
I think it's custom, right?
Is that what bespoke
is? That
we went from sounding maybe reasonably intelligent.
I've heard
lost everything. Now we don't
know. I've heard that before.
How do we bring them back?
Let's bring up the definition of bespoke.
And Rory's insanity.
The audience just let all right.
Yeah, made for a particular customer or user.
There we go.
Oh, Jerrod,
I want to go on. Okay, we can edit this out.
I didn't know what it meant. I just felt good to use it.
Because you know how you said about now when we pitch something new about so this could be cut out because it's not going to be applicable, but it might be.
Maybe we'll keep it.
We'll see if we'll keep it.
See how crazy it is.
We don't even have beer. We're going off on tangents. So you know what you said about white labeling? Like we go to a Wisconsin because that's coming up next.
Oh yeah.
And let's say we're going to film B-roll and an interview, and they're just going to take it. I was like, okay, because at first I'm like, that's that 2-week rule. Because when you said about it, I'm like, well, you can't do it like the next meeting, obviously. But I'm like, actually, in that in between of a product promo, because a product promo 8 minutes, you can't get into all those things. Like case studies, you can't do 2 case studies, problem solving, industry outlook. But if you had somebody that just wanted to white label it and you're in between like a test and a product promo, but you're on site.
Yeah.
You can do the exact same thing. And I'm like, yeah, that might hit right in
that little spot. But there are people that don't. We actually just had one that he really wasn't after promotion. Like he wasn't. It was a call last week, and they do like really custom homes.
Yeah,
it's just not. He just didn't care.
No,
but he might want a piece of content that really showcases the history of the company, and it's almost like just an asset for them to have internally.
Yeah.
And for us to just say, well, our interviews have to have one of our shows behind it. Mm-hmm. I mean, why do we care, really?
Yeah.
Right?
So it is something I'm like, that's going to be, it might be interesting to have that showing because it's like, yeah, especially when you said about the advertising, like we don't need to have that on there. I'm like, we could definitely have like a more white label production on that side.
Well, it's because a lot of our time and resources are put into promotion of the content,
and 90% of our clients want the promotion.
Exactly.
So anyway, that was my.
But if it was 10%, then yeah.
I'm just talking about it on the show, but I'm like, yeah, I could see how that could develop into something, especially when you're going on site and you've got all the on site capabilities.
Yeah. But it's a good example of that's why that flexible is in there because
yes.
we don't, we're talking internally. Anybody of the company, if someone said, hey, could we not be on the show, but we don't need the promotion, but we just need this interview filmed and we want the drone footage and all that sort of stuff.
We can use it internally. We can put it on our website.
You go, sure, okay, we deduct the cost of what it sort of takes its promotion. Now you got a better rate and you got your asset. They've got their asset. Yeah.
Exactly. So anyway, that was my rabbit trail for the day.
Yeah, and then the last one I'll just say quickly is exceptional is it's just the investment in their production. I mean, we've seen I'm not picking on anybody, but we've seen other specifically in heavy industry, they've tried to produce other shows. There's just little corners being cut. You can tell they don't have it planned out properly, and you cannot take an ABB or a Ditch Witch or a Komatsu. You cannot have a bad episode.
Nope.
I mean, you just can't. Our speakers are generally not professional public speakers. Mm-hmm. That's not who is on our show. So you have to. I mean, you see it when someone gets rattled.
Yeah.
It just happened to us where someone got rattled. We won't get into who or what.
No, but
they got rattled.
And it can happen to anybody.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, it could happen to us. If you're put in a situation and that you're not used to it.
Yeah.
It happens. And then when you have 3-4 cameras in front of your face,
it's like, where am I looking? What's happening?
Lights and, headsets and all this sort of stuff. It's a lot.
Yeah. So you have to. The exceptional is you have to prepare people. Yeah. That gentleman that kind of got rattled in the neck. Not kind of. He got rattled.
Yeah.
I made a misjudgment because I'm always very I take time to get people comfortable and I just do certain things. And he seemed so confident when I first met him.
Right.
I didn't think he needed it. Well, then all of a sudden he's sitting in front of the camera. The lights are glaring in his face.
Yeah.
And then it hits him.
That's a
right?
lot.
In the pre-interview, the one thing that's interesting is if you tell somebody, just talk about this like you're meeting with I'm your client. Talk to me like I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even get into the viewership anymore in the pre-interview because I
scares
know
people. You tell people 100,000.
You tell people 25,000. Like, what are you talking about?
There are people that public speaking is actually you should bring that up. I think public speaking is one of the number one.
Oh, when I used to when I was
fear.
19 and I started coaching, then I realized I had to go in front of the parents. I'm like,
right.
What the hell?
Yeah.
What? I didn't sign up for that.
Yeah.
I signed up to be on the bench, and then now it'd be whatever. It'd be like, yeah, these are my goals. I want everybody to have fun, not take penalties.
It's the most common phobia.
Right. Yeah.
But
it affects about 72 to 75% of the population.
Yeah.
But if you don't do we're doing shows every week.
Yeah.
The biggest thing with the crowd.
And I still get tripped up. I still I'm not this isn't. It happened last week. I was talking and I lost my place.
Oh, man.
And so then I got rattled and I started. I didn't even know what I was talking about. And
That's hilarious.
I've done 300, 400 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, like I said, it happens to anybody. Yeah, and it's funny because we were just talking about it with Zarina.
Zarina, how's it going over there?
Yeah, that it's
I'm
something that we usually also try to prep, even on our end as producers, as the producer, is ignore the cameras. They're not here.
Mm-hmm.
This is you and the host, and as simple as that. We're just here to capture it, capture a natural conversation. But
tricky.
it's tough. It's tough. I mean,
It is tough because you could even say, hey, like it's just going to be a simple conversation. And even the one that we were doing when we were at CIM, one of the guests was nervous at the beginning, even when we tried to calm him down. And it's you kind of just have to wait it out until, and because at the end he was very comfortable. So it's just kind of a bit of a waiting game as well.
Yeah. I sometimes take a different approach with the cameras aren't here. Like, it's sort of the same thing as like, don't be nervous. And then of course you're thinking, I kind of go, it's actually a bit of a psychology thing is, whose method is it? But essentially it's like, we can't, I'll say sometimes things like, we can't pretend the cameras aren't. I mean, there's a big light shining on. You can't pretend it.
We could before with the phones.
We could before when we had the phones, yeah. But now I say something more like, so they are here, but, after a few minutes, we're going to get comfortable.
Yeah.
And it sort of helps them know also that it does depend on the guest. It depends how you.
I definitely think it depends on the guest. Because this is the approach I've used since we started this, is that I find when you do say ignore the camera is because it's natural when you have a camera there.
To talk to the camera.
And that's what I try to avoid.
That is true.
I don't want them to do that. This is just us capturing a conversation about their services, their product,
it makes them realize that they're not performing for the camera.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so you get a more natural conversation once they're trying. The camera, the camera. You don't want that.
Fine, forget my method. It was a terrible suggestion.
Do you know what? Was funny too is like more on that. Like, so I wasn't hosting nearly as much, but then I'm building energy. We did 6 at PBIOS.
Right.
I don't actually think we had phones down there, Gaudy. I think we had a real camera.
No, we have cameras. We have cameras.
So that one,
and that was remote on site, so it was not you.
Yeah,
there.
But I was in studio.
That's right. Yeah.
And
it's just a producer down there.
Yeah.
Gaudy.
Yeah, I was down there. Yeah.
I can't remember anything.
But after, because what I would do is I'd be like, crap, I can't look at my notes, okay? And I'd be like, and you could see like me like struggling, trying to get to the next topic. Now I'm just like, where was I?
It's the most natural thing.
After that, it changed everything.
Yeah.
Just you cannot lie on camera because you can't, your hand movement.
It's there.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to capture it. Yeah. And that's exactly why I'm like, you need to pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
Because the moment it's there and you're trying to perform for it, you're doing these weird, like, I'm not looking, but I'm looking, like that sort of stuff.
I do think it's worth mentioning, though, we were comparing to public speaking, which is actually a bit of a false comparison because it is so much easier. Because you're doing an interview, you're not reading a script, whereas in a presentation, people are looking, all the eyeballs are looking at you, and then you're sitting there with your little clicker or whatever. It's so much easier to do this.
You can't fix anything.
No.
I'm sorry, but that's another. Public speaking, you mess up terribly. I mean, you messed up.
Okay, it's stressing me out. I don't want to think about it anymore.
This is why Jerrod does not do public speaking.
But I get asked because people think, because I hide behind cameras and mics.
Yeah, it's
and
not
then people ask me to what do people? They ask me the MC at the
wedding. Oh
yeah,
it's not the same thing.
I'm like, okay,
yeah. We editors and producers make Jerrod look great.
Exactly. Well, the thing about weddings too, especially if they were like at a religious wedding, which my family most of them are. Every joke that you go to think, you're like, this would be hilarious. You're like, I cannot.
Nope.
There's no way I can say that. Like it'll
There's
actually.
no editing.
Well, in my family, it would actually be like a problem. Like it would be a year later, people would still be talking about it if I said some of the crazy. Yeah. So. Yeah,
and as Kill Tony fans, stuff just comes up. It bubbles up to the surface. You're like, you want to mention it so badly.
That show messes up your head. Because people talk to you, and you're just like, I could say that, but I shouldn't.
I told the guy today that caffeine was against my religion, and he looked so upset with himself. I was like, that was a joke.
Yeah, he was like genuinely uncomfortable.
Yeah, I'm like, no. I'm like, no, it's fine. That's a joke. That's completely a joke. I'm like, oh, no.
That's wild.
I wonder if there's a religion that caffeine is.
I'm sure there's so many religions out there.
Yeah,
nowadays.
there's a religion that is specifically about not
There's
taking caffeine.
there's a cult. There is a cult out there that
Probably.
Let's
look it up.
About an hour and a half from here, there is a cult, and they worship Sirius, which it's like connected to that little dog, like Sirius Radio. There's some loose connection to the Sirius aliens or whatever like that.
Oh, cool.
And so I tried.
Sorry, where is this?
It's out Maple Ridge. So,
Wow.
I thought only the Hells Angels were out in Maple Ridge.
No. This is way scarier. So I tried to get my friend to go out and like visit them. This was like years ago.
Go visit them.
This was about a friend.
It was actually Daniel.
No way.
We'll bring up Daniel.
Why? Can we bring up Daniel?
Picture of Daniel.
Picture of Daniel.
Like
Yeah.
Daniel,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Southern Daniel.
Oh.
And most times when I've talked to Daniel and I'm trying to convince him of something, there's some opening. I couldn't believe how clearly.
Nope.
There's nothing I could say. There was no money I could offer. There was nothing I could do.
He's like, get
Good
outta here,
job.
man.
Good job, Daniel.
I think his respect for me and his trust in me just like I
Evaporated.
kind of watched it just evaporate. Like, you would actually take me out there? Like, you would do that?
Where did you and Eli go where he found like a...
That was it.
That was it?
Yeah, we were finding a hiking spot.
Oh.
Yeah.
You guys found it up there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then we're like,
On the
Daniel
back.
should
It
come
was
here.
beautiful, though. They had little benches around the wall. It looked very nice. And that's what I tried. That was the angle I tried to go, but it didn't work.
And for the four people left watching, now we can get into...
Our massive audience that nobody understands. Rory, how big is the audience at Crownsmen Partners?
Huge.
I love that. Huge. That's
I think we're going to be well past. We say 9 million this year. I think we're going to be past 10 million. We're past like 16 million overall just on YouTube.
Yeah.
This is
Crazy. It's a crazy
It's a
number.
crazy number. That's something you
Do you
have
have the
to
back end of the thing?
like our YouTube.
Yeah.
Don't pull that up.
No. We'll pull it up in an edited version.
Oh yeah. Good. You can pull it up here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Okay.
Pull it up.
Oh.
do you know what's
Sorry.
a crazy stat that a lot of people that doesn't land is the hours watched. That
This
is
year.
a crazy stat.
444,000 hours. I was like, that's an easy number to remember. Like, that's a crazy amount.
Well, if you go by minutes, so if a company is featured on our show, so for instance, I think, sorry about the numbers, we could fact check them.
100,000.
I think for the NFL, we figured for the Super Bowl, people
Yes.
pay about 3 cents a view.
Okay, I haven't been in the back end for a really long time, so let's.
Analytics.
Yep.
Just up.
Oh,
There you are. Yeah.
I don't handle this.
I just don't-
And then go up in the top right. It says last 28 days. Just go 2025.
we just have to blur out
Yeah, we'll blow it. It don't
Yeah.
matter. That's not.
It's all good.
No,
a
I
mountain
want to know how rich we are getting.
from YouTube. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's crazy.
See this watch? This is one of. This is the only watch in the world. This is worth.
$5.50.
It's on sale.
I want to see. So 400.
I've got a Swiss watch. It's literally the cheapest version of it. You can
So if you're 105,000 viewers, can't
0.2 million views.
times 10 minutes, it's 1 million minutes watched, which is insane.
So well, that's what I was going to say. People pay for the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And they pay 3 cents for an ad
Per view, right?
per view.
Because it's like
Yeah.
80 million people,
Like,
right?
I forget how many million people.
Gaudy, can you see how many people watch the 2025 Super Bowl? I'd pull it up, but I don't want to be on my phone.
This is one of those stats.
I could probably pull it up on here.
This is one of those stats. Well, Gaudy can bring it up on the screen, but that it's kind of it doesn't land with people, but for me, it's like the most important stat. Because if an average person watches 10 minutes.
What is it?
And-
Sorry, you said Super Bowl viewership, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, USA.
Estimated 127.7 million.
But I want to see because people are, 127.
Mm-hmm.
127 million. So,
And they're paying for like a 30-second or a 1 minute.
yeah. So if 50 if 50,000 people watch an episode, now remember, this is a very specific audience. Like, we're not talking about Doritos. We're talking about a very specific type of thing.
Yeah.
And they watch for 50,000 people, an average of 10 minutes.
Yeah. Massive.
The cost per view might still be around the same. Let's say 3 to 5 cents.
Yeah.
Because we're like hired to do it. 3 to 5 cents. But when you average it out per minute, it's like
nothing.
Like, it's literally nothing. It's like this little tiny fraction of a
Well,
penny.
we were talking about that. So, Gaudy, can you go to our media package and go to the... Let's just jump down to our options, because it's one thing that I try and tell people now, because Jerrod and I were discussing and be like, we have to show people, we'll go back to all this, but we'll have to show people how big this is. So when you're looking at a full-scale 6-part series, 48 ads, and you look at the viewership, you're talking over 1.65 million episode views, and then 2.4 million ad views. It's the biggest. Like, we've got a show that's going right now with Fleet Space. It's over 50 or over 60,000 views. Like, this stuff is the biggest content for heavy, like one of the biggest platforms now, especially in mining, for heavy industry content. I don't even fathom it sometimes but the viewers are so engaged and getting more engaged with the conversion. But you have to really find out if they understand that.
Well, because it's new, right? It's people used to do their white papers in a room of 50 people. Half them would be the company.
A webinar with
50
people. Yeah.
And not to say, like, I mean, some of our best connections have been at trade shows. Like,
absolutely,
people want to go to places and shake hands.
Roy Slack, kind of.
Yeah, right there is enough.
Our biggest contributor.
Yeah, but by so much.
Especially on cranky old men drinking beer.
Yeah. But yeah, it is just about trying to help people understand it, because the numbers, they're not used to seeing it. This still is new for people. Industry has not. This is not
trade shows. It's a lot of trade shows, white papers,
and still magazines. People still do magazines, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
The magazines, there are some magazines even that we get sometimes. They do have like technical, like their actual
like diagram, like type
like
stuff.
It's very it's like in depth, and those, I mean, that I can see the value of.
Yeah.
But if you're putting in a magazine, a company summary, these fake articles that they write,
or in just a 1-page ad,
it's tough. It's tough to justify it.
Well, especially because the online platform, you put that on. You can put that on a episode. It's a 5-minute highlight.
Yeah.
That everybody can digest, watch.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
Share.
And it's 1 click. If you go up, Gaudy, into the 1-click conversion, it's this is just a giant ad for us, but it is actually the information. A note went past. Yeah, right there.
There we go.
It's okay. We can edit it all down.
Edit it all down.
Because we're specialists in long form content.
Thank you. Yes, we are. Thank you, everybody.
Applause. Wait for the applause.
But people, they're taking this 1 click. They watch it on our platform. 1 click, they're on someone else's website.
Yeah.
Again, you can't do that even at a live event. You got to get the card. You got to scan. There's all like these steps, which are fine. But in this, we have an episode. There'll be 100,000 people. It's a huge industry event. If you get 100,000, we get 100,000 people watching per episode. Not every episode, but up to 100,000 people.
Well, it's like it's like 500,000, 600,000 people a month or more watching now.
Yeah.
And again, with the amazing targeting and all that data, it's just those numbers. You can't even, like, that's a number you can't really fathom. It's just so many people.
Yeah. Well, okay. And then there's a tour. Let's just quickly gloss over that. So that's us actually coming to the different places that we're coming, starting from August till May of next year.
Yep.
I'm biting my tongue so badly.
Rory.
Lindsay's
Zerplina.
Lindsay.
I can hear you chuckling in the background.
Our cup say
here. I'm going to rephrase.
She was laughing, Jerrod, because we were on our nonsense. I'm like, oh man, it's so gross. Anyway, sorry everyone.
The locations that we are going to.
There you go.
all around the world.
We're
coming all over the world.
Oh my gosh.
About,
I was trying really hard not to say, oh boy.
Yeah.
This is our team, guys.
You don't watch The Office, do you?
I do.
That's what she said. Yeah.
Exactly.
You know the thing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
Michael, but her response.
Serena, you may not know, but our whole business is basically modeled around The Office.
The Office.
I think I caught on to that quite early.
And we compete for who's Michael Scott. That's what that's who we aspire to.
One of you has to be the Dwight, though. I think it might be leaning towards Rory a bit.
Yes.
That was just because
I can't react. I can't react to be enough to be Dwight. No. It's the reaction.
Yeah, Rory's got that down.
You can see what you said physically hit Rory.
Yeah.
It's crazy. As I say it, I watch it go across the room and it hits him. He's like, and he's literally like, what? I'm like,
we're saying,
okay.
And this is the thing. You're like, this is on camera. Yippee!
Well, that's was funny this morning when we were setting up, and I said, okay, let's set up Serena, and she's setting up the cameras, and so I'm like, Serena, I need you to move those cameras from the door. She goes, okay, but we're setting up, and I'm like, no, you don't understand. Rory's coming. And I need those
I actually heard those songs.
out of the way.
Pretty good way.
Because he will knock one of my cameras down.
I have not done
with his excitement of
haven't done it yet.
We literally have given you notes, like when a guest comes in, you have to do slow.
Yeah.
So you'll be like, oh, I think we need to move the camera, and he'll be like, what?
I already
and the guest is like, what?
And I already talked to myself, so I'm like telling myself, get going.
I think
slow.
Rory has a thing to want to knock down cameras with also
he'll
getting
It's not that deep. It's not that deep. It's just reactionary.
Reaction. Yeah. His excitement.
I'm working on it.
But lands very well on camera because I was listening to you. Who are you filming today?
NRP.
NRP. Yeah. And I was like, oh, I better bring up the energy level a little bit because I was hearing, I was like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like your transitions, you were firing on them. I'm like, damn it.
Yeah. Oh, no.
I got to get better.
So it's one of those tough notes that you have to give him because you don't want him to not do that on camera. But it's off
the
camera.
energy has to go not into the movement, but into the camera itself,
exactly.
right? And then
it's so much fun talking about this stuff.
What?
Love this stuff. Exactly, though.
Oh my God.
It's exhausting. How do you do it? I'm like getting tired.
It's called having a lack of sleep. It makes it easy.
Yeah, you're saying that now, but what was your excuse before?
Yeah. Too much.
No, I don't know. Too much sleep. Too much sleep.
Oh boy.
We don't need to milk it any longer than needed. But I will say I've got a question that I not promotional opinion, honest opinion. What companies do you think should do a single episode, a 3-part series, and then a 6?
Oh yeah,
because I do think, and I'll kick it off and say I do think there's companies that 6 episodes is too much. They should not do 6 episodes a year. They just don't have enough.
That's a great question. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're very welcome.
So so my easy answer is, okay, you're a regional business or you're like a smaller business, but you want to really want to showcase what you do in that area. So maybe you're a provincial or a statewide like manufacturing company, or not even manufacturing company.
Yeah.
Like a construction.
All
company.
I want to do is flinch now.
Yeah.
Hey,
I'm
it's
just
kind of fun.
yeah.
It's kind of fun.
So I think that's great for one part series. So they should do a 1-part episode, but then build on it later on. Build on it. Talk about more case studies. If you plan it out, even you can like make sure that like the guests, or you can talk to like your clients that you're working with, bring them on. So that's great. If you're a 3-part series, the easy answer for that one is if you're in like a couple industries.
Yeah.
So you're mining, construction, and then maybe you want to bring on one with a case study. Glencore Technology, great example of that. They just keep on. They're bringing in partners. They're bringing in different experts from their team.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great
and in
example.
different, like they're in the same industry but different verticals within the industry, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're heavily focused on mining, but they got different products. And then the 6-part series, it's like basically going. It's kind of a mix between you have multiple verticals, multiple experts, probably thousands of people in the company, and you're trying to just showcase that phenomenal expertise.
I think what about, for me though, a smaller company, if they were going to invest, because I do think investing in, that gets into, it's big money when you get into that. I mean, not big if you're Caterpillar. It's big though if you've got 50 employees, I would say then if you're even, that's where you need to you need to bring customers on with you. You need to be filming at different locations. I think L&H does it better.
Oh, that's awesome.
They film at trade shows. They film remotely. They've had us on site.
Yeah.
They just keep on
filming a mill.
Filming a mill. They just
unbelievable shots.
They just keep on doing different things, and I think
it keeps it fresh.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because people want to learn.
For not just for the audience, but for us.
Yes.
For them.
We have had those ones where it's kind of like a bit of repetition.
Yeah.
You're like,
like how
don't talk about your service for more than 5 minutes.
Don't do what we just did.
Don't do what we just did. That's a rule. Yeah. That should be at the intro. Don't do what we just did.
That actually should be.
Yeah.
Say to the camera,
don't do what we do.
But maybe there's two people that got educated from that.
It's all about reaching one person.
So, no, we need to. I gotta buy a secondary $5 watch.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't know watches is gonna think I'm like joking, and this is a really nice watch.
Oh no, I'll bring it up. No worries.
Yeah, sorry, people. This is not just.
Is that the G-Shock?
It's a G-Shock. They're like, man, in Asia, they're like $800. They're more expensive in Asia than they are here.
That's like our Glacier.
That's where he went and bought it.
No, I actually bought it from Dubai. I ordered it from. There's a guy who's like deals watches in Dubai.
So it could be a fake, is what you're saying.
It might be. It works with the G-Shock app.
Cool.
So I'm hoping. So anything else to add? That was a terrible ending, but hey.
Your goat has been wiggling the whole time.
Because you keep jumping.
Oh, it's gonna keep.
Rory and the goat are just in sync.
Oh my God.
What I love.
Shut up. Just throw the music.
Rory, and by the way, is the funniest for people that are their dogs. He's had 2 golden retrievers. It's hilarious.
And I want a third.
It's just like,
I can't have one yet, but later.
Does my dog match me, Poodle? I don't know if I have Poodle energy.
No, Butter.
Butter's
a perfect
Butter's your two-spirit animal.
Butter's, I love Butter more than I love my kid. Okay, thank you everybody for watching. We'll see you on the next episode of the Crownsmen Show.